Men, here's something that might sound backward, but it actually works. If you really want to stay on her mind, stop reaching out. Most guys think that the more they text or call, the more she'll care. They cling to contact, believing constant messages will keep her interested. But in reality, pulling back is often what makes the strongest impact. Think about it. Silence changes the situation. It breaks the routine she's used to, the good morning texts, the check-ins, the steady attention. Suddenly, you're no longer part of her everyday life. And that absence sparks something powerful, curiosity and confusion. She starts asking herself questions. Why hasn't he texted? Is he done with me? Did I misread him? And the answers to those questions won't come from you. They'll come from how she reacts. Some women won't handle the silence well. They'll reach out, trying to reconnect. Others will act like they don't care, but still watch from a distance, checking your social media or asking about you quietly. And yes, a few will disappear completely. But let's be honest, those were never the right ones anyway. This isn't about playing games, it's about clarity. Your silence creates space for the truth to come out. It forces her to decide if she truly cares or if she just enjoyed the attention. Most men never reach this point because they're scared to let go. They mistake persistence for progress. But stepping back is often what gives you the clarity and control you've been missing. So stop chasing. Watch. Wait. Let her actions show you what she really wants. Silence speaks louder than any message ever could, and what she does next will tell you everything. Now let's go deeper. Sign number 1. She panics and reaches out. When you suddenly stop contacting a woman, especially if she's used to your attention, her first reaction may be panic. Women are very sensitive to changes in behavior. If you've been consistent and then suddenly go quiet, she will notice. That silence throws her off balance. It leaves an empty space in her day and forces her to face questions she's been avoiding. Did something happen? Did she push you away? Or worse, did you lose interest? That uncertainty creates panic. Many women like to feel in control, especially in relationships. When you stop initiating contact, that control slips away. And that's when the fear of losing you kicks in. That fear pushes her to act without thinking. She may text, call, or message you out of the blue for no clear reason. She might say something simple like, "Hey, I haven't heard from you," or, "Is everything okay?" This isn't just curiosity. It's her way of trying to regain control of the situation your silence disturbed. This reaction is even stronger if she valued your presence more than she admitted. Many women don't realize how much they rely on your attention until it's gone. When you go silent, you create a gap. Her panicked attempt to fill that gap is the first sign of how much you mattered to her. For example, imagine you've been texting a woman every day for weeks, and then suddenly you stop. 2 days later, she messages you, "Hey, are you okay? I was worried." On the surface, it sounds caring. But underneath, she's trying to understand why the dynamic changed. The panic isn't only about you, it's about losing the comfort, attention, and validation your messages gave her. This is where most men mess up. They rush back in, eager to explain themselves. But here's the key, don't overdo it. Responding too fast or with too much excitement weakens the power of your silence. Instead, stay calm and composed. A steady, relaxed response keeps her slightly unsure, which makes her think more deeply about what you add to her life. Remember, silence isn't just absence, it's a strategy. Use it wisely and pay attention to how her reactions reveal her true feelings. Sign number 2. She pretends she doesn't care. When you stop contacting a woman, one of the most common reactions is her acting like it doesn't bother her. This is a defense mechanism. Women don't like feeling exposed, especially if they think showing emotion makes them look weak or needy. So instead of admitting that your absence affects her, she acts indifferent. She convinces herself and others that your silence means nothing, even when it clearly does. That "I don't care" attitude can show up in small or obvious ways. Maybe she ignores your last message. Or she posts something online that screams, "I'm happier than ever without you." She might even make sure you notice her having fun or getting attention from others, hoping the message gets back to you. It's all meant to make it look like she's completely unbothered. But here's the truth. Real indifference doesn't need proof. People who truly don't care don't try this hard to show it. The more effort she puts into acting unbothered, the clearer it becomes that your absence shook her. She may hide it, but the comfort and validation you gave her are gone, and that leaves a gap she doesn't want to admit exists. This is where many men make another mistake. When she acts distant, they panic. They assume she's lost interest and rush to reconnect. That's the worst thing you can do. The moment you chase her, you confirm that her indifference controls the situation. Instead, you need to stand firm and keep your distance. Let her keep pretending. Over time, the act becomes exhausting. She'll start wondering why her usual tricks aren't working. And when she realizes you're not reacting, she'll be forced to face her real feelings. The truth is, her indifference is just a mask. If you hold your ground, that mask will eventually slip, and what she truly feels will come out. Sign number 3. She starts stalking you online. When you stop contacting a woman, one of the first places she looks for answers is your social media. Social media has become the easiest way to peek into someone's life. If she's no longer hearing from you directly, she'll start watching from a distance. She'll check your posts, view your stories, and pay close attention to how you interact with others. This isn't just curiosity. It's her way of staying connected without breaking her silence. Women are often very good at noticing small details that most men miss. She will study your captions, your photos, and even the people who comment on your posts. If you post something new, she might be the first person to view it, but she won't always like or comment. Why? Because admitting she's paying attention feels too exposed. Instead, she watches quietly. She stays in the background, observing what you're doing, where you're going, and most importantly, who you're spending time with. This behavior comes from mixed emotions. One part of her wants to feel connected to you, even if that connection is only one-sided. Another part comes from insecurity. Your silence leaves a gap, and she wants to fill that gap with information. The fear of missing out on your life, your attention, or the possibility of you moving on pushes her to keep checking up on you. And honestly, this is very human. Haven't you ever checked someone's profile after things went quiet or after a fallout? It's normal to want answers, especially when you no longer have direct access to someone. The difficult part for men is knowing how to handle this. The mistake most men make is oversharing online. If she's watching, it means she's looking for clues. Posting too much or trying to show off gives her exactly what she wants, information on her terms. A better approach is to keep your online presence balanced and slightly mysterious. Let her wonder. Her quiet watching is proof that your absence is affecting her. The key is staying in control and resisting the urge to turn your life into a show. Let her observe from a distance and think about the parts of your life she no longer gets to see. Sign number 4. She tests you with mixed signals. When you stop contacting a woman, don't be surprised if she suddenly starts sending mixed signals. One day, she might like your post or send a casual message. The next day, she becomes cold, distant, or doesn't reply at all. This hot and cold behavior isn't accidental. It's intentional. She's testing you. Mixed signals are her way of checking your emotional strength and seeing if you're still attached to her. Here's the truth. Women know that inconsistency creates confusion, and confusion keeps you thinking. She knows how to make you question her intentions. Does her message mean she's interested again, or is she just being polite? Is she opening the door, or does she simply enjoy the attention? These unanswered questions keep men mentally stuck on her, even when she's offering nothing real. This is where many men go wrong. Instead of recognizing the test, they grab every small sign she gives. She texts, and they reply instantly. She pulls away, and they chase harder. That reaction confirms what she already suspected: you're still emotionally invested, and she still has control. Men need to wake up. Mixed signals are not a sign of genuine interest, they're a game. And when you play along, you show a lack of emotional control. Women respect men who stay calm and steady, even in uncertainty. If her behavior confuses you, don't try to analyze it. Focus on your boundaries and your self-respect. The way to pass her test is emotional detachment. Don't let her inconsistency control your mood or actions. When she's warm, don't get overly excited. When she's cold, don't overthink it. By staying neutral and refusing to chase, you show her that her games don't work on you. Men need to stop living for the hope of her approval. If a woman truly cares, she will be clear. Mixed signals show immaturity or confusion on her part, and that's not something you should try to fix. In the end, her test isn't really about you, it's about her own insecurities. When you stay composed, you show her you're not the type of man who falls for emotional manipulation. That kind of strength naturally earns respect. Sign number 5. She starts questioning her decision. When you stop contacting a woman, the silence doesn't just make her think about you, it makes her question herself. One of the strongest effects of your absence is the doubt it creates in her mind. At first, she may have felt sure about rejecting you, walking away, or creating distance. But when you don't chase, that confidence begins to shake. Suddenly, her decision doesn't feel so solid anymore. Why? Because women are strongly influenced by validation. When you were present, giving attention, affection, and reassurance, she felt secure knowing someone valued her. That validation was like a safety net. Once you remove it, she's left feeling unstable, wondering if she made a mistake by letting go of someone who genuinely cared. Here's what happens next. She replays past interactions in her mind, examining every moment for meaning. Was he better than I thought? What if I don't find someone like him again? Did I underestimate his worth? These questions start to bother her. Now here's what men need to understand. How strong her doubt becomes depends on how you handle yourself. If you stay confident, focused, and grounded, that doubt grows. If you chase her or try to convince her she was wrong, you only confirm her original choice. Silence works because it puts the decision back in her hands. One of the biggest mistakes men make is undervaluing themselves. Many believe rejection is a final judgment of their worth. It isn't. Women often make decisions based on emotion, and emotions change. But doubt only appears when you give her the space to feel it. When you stop contacting her and focus on your own life, you force her to reflect. And when that doubt sets in, she starts realizing what she may have lost. Sign number 6. She tries to make you jealous. When you stop contacting a woman, one reaction you might notice is her sudden attempt to make you jealous. She may post photos with other men, show off her social life, or talk about how much fun she's having. But let's be honest, this isn't about moving on. It's about getting a reaction from you. Your silence makes her uneasy. When you were always available, she knew where she stood with you. Now that you've pulled back, she's unsure if she still has influence over you. Jealousy becomes her tool to test that influence. If she can trigger a reaction, a comment, a message, or even you checking her profile, she feels reassured that you still care. Here's what men must understand. Trying to make you jealous is not a sign of interest. It's driven by insecurity. She's not focused on building something real with someone new. She's focused on seeing if she still has control over you. That's not love, it's ego. For example, she posts a photo with another guy at a party, adding a flirty caption. At first, it looks like she's moved on. But look closer. Is she truly interested in him, or is she hoping you'll see it and react? Her actions often reveal a need for attention, not real feelings. The worst thing you can do is react emotionally. Confronting her, messaging her, or trying to show off your own life only gives her what she wants. It tells her she still has power over you. The best response is no response. Stay calm. Focus on your goals, your growth, and your progress. When you don't engage in jealousy games, you send a clear message. You can't be easily manipulated, and your worth doesn't depend on her validation. That strength is what eventually makes her question her actions and possibly regret playing games at all. Sign number 7. She moves on too fast. One of the most confusing reactions is when she seems to move on almost immediately. Suddenly, she's posting about a new guy, going out constantly, and acting like your absence doesn't matter. To an outsider, it looks like she's completely over you. But often, that's not the truth. In many cases, it's not about moving on, it's about hiding her emotions. Women sometimes struggle to deal with the loss of attention from someone they relied on. Instead of facing those feelings, they distract themselves with someone new. It's a way to avoid vulnerability and avoid admitting they still care. Moving on too fast usually signals emotional confusion, not closure. She may be asking herself questions she doesn't want to face. Why isn't he chasing me? Did I misjudge him? Am I really over him? Rather than sitting with these thoughts, she fills the emptiness with someone else. Men need to understand this. Don't take it personally or let it affect your self-worth. Her actions are about her need for validation, not your value. If you react emotionally, you only prove she still has control. Real healing and real connections take time. When someone jumps into something new within days or weeks, it rarely lasts. Rebound relationships are often shallow and temporary because they're built on distraction, not depth. Your job isn't to compete or prove yourself. Stay focused on your path. The most attractive thing you can do is stay calm, confident, and grounded. Let her chase distractions while you build something meaningful. In time, she may realize that moving on so fast didn't give her what she hoped for. And when that realization hits, she'll start questioning the decision to let you go. Until then, keep moving forward and put your energy where it matters most, your growth. Sign number 8. She becomes curious about your life. When you stop contacting a woman, something interesting often happens. She starts getting curious about your life. It may not show immediately, but over time she begins wondering what you're doing, who you're with, and how you're coping without her. This curiosity comes from uncertainty. When you were always present, she knew what was happening in your life. She had access to your thoughts, plans, and emotions. Now, your silence has created mystery. And nothing sparks curiosity more than the unknown. She might check your social media more often, ask mutual friends about you, or replay old conversations in her mind, searching for meaning. This isn't weakness, it's human nature. People want answers when consistency suddenly disappears. Curiosity doesn't just make her wonder about you, it makes her reflect on herself. Why does she care? Is it interest? Is it loss of control? Or did she underestimate what life would feel like without your attention? We've all experienced this in one way or another. Maybe you once ignored someone and later wondered how they were doing. Or maybe you felt the sting of distance and found yourself checking their updates just to feel close again. This isn't about weakness. It's about how people react to distance, silence, and uncertainty. Here's what men need to understand, and it's simple. Her curiosity doesn't always mean she wants you back. It usually comes from a mix of emotions, pride, ego, and real curiosity that makes her want to know more. The important thing is not to read too much into it or get carried away. If she's curious, let her stay curious. Don't rush to explain things or fill in the gaps for her. That curiosity keeps you on her mind. It reminds her that there's mystery around you and value in your absence. Stay calm, stay focused, and let her sit with the questions she doesn't have answers to. Sign number 9. She blames you for the silence. When you stop contacting a woman, one of the most frustrating reactions you may face is her blaming you for the silence. At first, it can feel unfair. After all, you're the one who stopped reaching out. But here's the truth. Her blaming you isn't really about what you did. It's about her struggle to take responsibility for her part in the situation. Let's break it down. Women are emotional, and when they feel hurt or rejected, it's easier to point the finger at someone else than to face their own emotions. It's much easier for her to blame you than to admit she may have pushed you away or ignored the warning signs before you pulled back. This is where men need to wake up. Silence isn't always the bad guy. Most times, it's the result of problems that were never addressed. If she's blaming you, it's because she doesn't want to face the real reasons you stopped reaching out. Maybe she took your attention for granted. Maybe she ignored your emotional needs. Or maybe she didn't respect your boundaries. When you finally pull back, blaming you feels easier than looking inward. Here's the reality. Many men tolerate poor behavior just to keep the peace. They make excuses, stay quiet, and let things slide. When you stop being available, it forces everything into the open. She can no longer depend on you to fill the emotional gap. And instead of asking herself why she didn't communicate or make an effort when you were still reaching out, she flips the blame onto you. Men, don't fall for this. Don't let her avoid responsibility. Instead, use this moment to remember your worth. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing your peace. If you've been giving without receiving, this is your wake-up call. Self-respect matters. Don't trap yourself by defending your silence or apologizing for protecting yourself. If she blames you, let her sit with the truth of the situation. In moments like this, silence is often the strongest response. Sign number 10. She respects you more than before. When you stop contacting a woman, the last thing you might expect is for her to respect you more. It sounds backward, right? You'd think pulling away would make her see you as weak or uninterested. But the truth is, stepping back can actually increase her respect for you. Here's why. When you stop chasing her, the power dynamic changes. Women respect men who have boundaries and value themselves enough to walk away when they're not being treated right. When you stop giving constant attention, you show her that you're not emotionally dependent on her. Your self-worth isn't tied to her replies or behavior. And that independence makes you more attractive and earns respect. Many men make the mistake of being too available, too eager, and too focused on pleasing her. They think that effort alone will win her over. But in reality, women respect men who put themselves first. When you stop contacting her, you're not begging for approval. You're standing in your value. That sends a clear message. You know your worth. And whether she admits it or not, that makes her respect you more. Here's the main point. Respect comes from actions, not words. When you take the bold step of pulling back, you show her that you're not someone who can be taken for granted. You stop being just another guy willing to chase her no matter what. Instead, you become the man who is confident, independent, and aware of his value. Let's be honest. This shift in respect doesn't mean she will automatically come running back. She might, or she might not. But the respect she gains for you during this time is real. She starts seeing you differently. She sees a man who isn't afraid to walk away when it's necessary, and that kind of strength naturally earns admiration. So men, don't be afraid to pull back. If she respects you more because of it, you're doing something right. Let her see that you can stand on your own. That kind of strength is impossible to ignore. Here's the truth. When you stop contacting her, you're not losing. You're winning. Most men are taught that keeping a woman interested means constant effort, non-stop texting, and chasing her endlessly. But here's the hard truth. That's what actually makes you look weak in her eyes. The more you chase, the more she pulls away. The moment you stop and focus on yourself, you take the power back. Most guys won't tell you this, but you don't need her validation to feel whole. It's when you stop seeking her approval that she starts realizing what she may have lost. If you want real respect and attraction, stop trying to control the outcome. Let her figure out her own feelings. I know this may sound tough, but it's real. If you're always available, you'll never be fully valued. Now, if you've experienced this or have something to say, leave a comment below. I want to hear your story. Let's keep this conversation going, because your experience matters, and I'm here to help you become the man who gets the respect he deserves.